President Trump is once again changing course when it comes to immigration enforcement.
Yeah, the president says he's going to give hotel and farm workers a temporary pass. We have Ground Force Joey Horta live in San Francisco with the latest on that.
Joey?
And guys, this is just the latest development on this ongoing issue here of going back and forth on immigration arrests. The president now saying he'll give a temporary pause to those who work on farms or work for hotels as well, making that announcement on Fox News Channel's Sunday Morning Futures over the weekend. This is, again, temporary, he says. The purpose is to give employers more control when it comes to their staff being deported. Trump says he wants to support farmers to give them more control over the situation. He points out it's hard to find people who want to do hard labor in the field.
It's a problem. You know, I'm on both sides of the thing. I'm the strongest immigration guy that there's ever been, but I'm also the strongest farmer guy that there's ever been. And that includes also hotels and, you know, places where people work, a certain group of people work. So we're working on it right now. We're going to work it so that some kind of a temporary pass where people pay taxes, where the farmer can have a little control.
Now, video showing officers chasing down this farm worker in California went viral earlier this month. The president said immigration arrests are hurting both the ag industry and the hospitality industry. And that did lead to a short pause on arrests a couple of weeks ago, but the administration flip-flopped a few days later when Border Czar Tom Hallman said that ICE would continue to target farms and hotels. So this is another change. Back then, a spokesperson for the Golden Gate Restaurant Association told us, quote, "We are encouraged to read about the recent change in federal policy. Until there's a clarity regarding ongoing actions, there will continue to be a high degree of stress in our community." So the administration going in circles here, and this latest turn gives a break to those who fill jobs that are hard for folks to want to do in a lot of cases. The California Farm Bureau, meanwhile, saying that if arrests of farm workers were to continue, that could drive up prices at the grocery store. It's unclear at this point how long this pause will last and when it really starts. Back to you.
It seems like Trump is trying to absolve himself of something. Like he's saying, hey, basically, I am the strongest president when it comes to backing these farmers. And then he turns around and says, and I'm also the strongest when it comes to this immigration reform, meaning the people who want the immigrants out of the country. But what he ain't speaking on is the immigrants themselves. The United States, whether or not anybody is aware of it, has a nasty little habit of carving out places in its society and putting you in it. And once they've carved out that place, that's it. You're going to be in that place. And they're trying to carve out a place for these immigrants, and it ain't going to work. These immigrants is a fluent, moving entity. It's not stopping. It's not slowing down. And they stop the border. That's cool. And then when we have our next presidential election and the Democrat is leading, the people start lining up on the roads and walking toward America. That's just what it is. I mean, I'm sorry, walking toward the United States. They in America. They just don't like their part of America. So they start walking up toward America. And we got Trump trying to look like a good guy for supporting the farmers who are abusing the workers, for supporting the people who want the immigrants out because they're racist. But not just saying, you know what, we got to balance this out. And Democrats need to be listening to this conversation. We need to balance this out where everybody can understand that the priority is what the United States says is the priority. Human rights. Isn't that right? People's rights. Treating people bad. The way Trump talks is as if he's talking about slaves. Oh, they got them in there and they've had them for so long and there's no need of, making them have to give that up. Yeah, give up all the benefits of having illegal immigrants working for you. As a farmer, and then the hotels are next. And then after that, another industry will jump up and they'll be like, wait a minute. How are you going to pick that industry and that industry? And although they pick the fruit, we have a bunch of illegal immigrants over here processing the chicken and processing the vegetables to canning them, and all kind of other ways they're doing it. All of our food products are basically being taken care of by a bunch of illegal immigrants because the Democrats and the Republicans agree on one thing, and that's oppression. They are both clearly 20/20 vision when it comes to that. They both know that they're abusing an entire race of people coming into this country, an entire segment of the population. And then one side argues, let them stay and don't separate them from their kids. And, that's the Democrats, obviously. And the Republicans they're criminals. They're raping our women. They're molesting our kids. They're sex trafficking people over here. And we got to get them out. So it all balances out to their core beliefs and ideas and what really drives them. And the one thing that is not number one on either one of their lists is the illegal immigrant himself or herself. I ain't into the human trafficking and all that stuff that's going on, but they're encouraging it. Our country is encouraging it by making it illegal. Don't keep these people waiting for years and years and decades just so that your companies in the United States can abuse them. Last time I checked, Mexico got the same climate that we got up here. And they can grow the same kind of shit that we grow. Why don't they cultivate some land and do it down there and let those people work as Mexican workers and the wage be paid fairly and whatever their country pays them, and we just have to deal with it as consumers because we ain't doing too good in any other area. We abuse people. We treat them bad. Do you realize hotel work, bending over and cleaning the bathtub, bending over and standing up all day, walking up and down stairs, pulling and pushing heavy objects, the farm and fruit workers, the same thing. Really, really repetitive and hard manual labor. And when they get injured, then they just get another group of illegal immigrants in to replace them. And they send these people home. And then they're on the government's health care, which is why the Democrats are fighting so hard. Everybody has to have free health care who is poor and who we've abused, and the blacks and the illegal immigrants and the poor whites and the poor Mexicans and anybody else who falls economically in that class. That's when we look like a coalition, a rainbow coalition of people with all these beautiful colors together. The only time you see that is at the bottom. That's the only time you really see people pull together and start to act neighborly, act like they give a damn about another person, is when they poor as hell and ain't got nothing else. Because everything else has been removed, and we are still with nothing in our pockets supporting these people and their obsession to oppress. They have an obsession to oppress people. It's just in them. They can't get it out. And when they get done with the illegal immigrants, if they ever do, because this is a good one here. These guys are right across the border. They can physically get here without getting on a boat or a plane. They can walk. That's huge for the United States government, and it needs a uninterrupted flow and an unlimited amount of people to just keep on rolling in. And right now they might be the farming industry but as soon as these people realize that the executive branch has accepted them into his country under special provisions for millionaires and billionaires who own these corporations that are oppressing and abusing these people, you tell me that the same way these folks are over here fighting just to not be deported, we can't see a short time into the future when the illegal immigrants will be suing for reparations. And they have a good argument to be put out in the fields for less than what they should have been making, to be working in hotels and getting injured and not being taken care of properly, and to be underpaid, and to be abused, and to be exploited in some cases, and not being able to do anything about it because you're not a citizen of the United States, and any noise out of you could mean the deportation of you and your family, or your family and you, or anything. So with that being said, up to this, the filming of this video, they already have a strong case for some type of reparations. But we, as black people, have already experienced that the United States ain't too big on paying our reparations. But if it benefits them, they might. And it would benefit them probably to pay reparations to the illegal immigrants for all the abuse and all the cheating and one party letting them in, the other party locking them out. I mean, as a whole, the United States government has to account for this shit. Whether the parties can't line up, at some point the responsibility still has to be laid at the doorstep of the White House, whoever might be in it at the time. And I see a strong case for reparations for the illegal immigrants if this continues. And actually, up to this point, it should already be being taken very serious and looked into. And black people need to stay their ass out the street supporting that kind of oppression and abuse, because we think that we in a spot that we'll never get out of. We ready to help another group come over to the United States and get stuck in a spot that they'll never get out of. We don't need to support that shit. And those people deserve better than that when they do make it over here, and when they do meet all the requirements. And when they meet all the requirements and are still declined permission to become citizens, that's messed up. When you know these people have jobs, when you know, I'm still not a proponent of letting them stay just because they ain't criminals. Because that still don't make Trump and Biden and all the rest of them not criminals. You're a fucking criminal if you're bringing people into your country and making them do jobs that no one in your country wants to do but are necessary, that are very, very necessary, very important jobs, and nobody pays them any regard and treats them the way they do. And they are the backbone right now of what's going on in this country, and we are fighting over pennies instead of paying the people right, giving them their citizenship. And then I can't talk of them as illegal immigrants anymore. They will be American citizens like most of them probably deserve to be. Shit, I thought Reagan was the most I thought President Reagan was the most racist president I ever seen in my life. I was like, geez. But when you hear Trump talk now, he's so raw. And he's getting older, so he doesn't have the ability to connect with most people like he did maybe 15 or 20 years ago, because he was a charismatic person and is a charismatic person, but that old bitter racist part of him comes out more and more lately, and it don't look good. It's not a good look, and it's obvious that it's racist shit going on in that man, and it's unfortunate that the part of the country that voted for him, and I know a lot of people vote for him knowing that he's racist, but what you gonna do? It ain't like Biden ain't. I know the United States government is gonna have to be responsible for what both of these parties are doing to these illegal immigrants. It's just such of a difficult situation for us citizens to be in, because as soon as we're done fixing this issue with illegal immigrants, which really is a high priority item and a very important item, but it doesn't mean that other groups and other folks racially and economically don't have a real fight, don't have a real good argument for some of the kicking and beatings that they've taken in this country under the guise of democracy and fairness and equality, and you go home bleeding. And for Donald Trump to turn those ICE agents into these communities, that takes it to a serious level when you got people running and blocking off freeways and throwing bottles and beers, and it gets real crazy and everybody's like not feeling good. on this side, not feeling bad about it on that side, and all this turmoil. And then you go a week and a half later and say, yeah, I've been listening to my farmer friends, and, I just can't do them like that. I just can't do them like that. I gotta let them have those workers who they've had. Like if the workers belong to them, they don't, and he shouldn't put them in a position to where farmers feel like they have no control. You're a farmer in the United States of America in a $1 billion industry, and you want to sit here and act like you got no control as you oppress the shit out of a group of people. I'm done. The United States of America is so hypocritical. It depends on how you word it. You can take anything that we divide on and word it one way here and one way here, and then bring in a neutral party, and they'll probably see that both of you are psychotic. There's serious shit going on both sides that you can justify it on any front. But for Trump to try to stick his chest out and be compassionate and soft when it comes to those farmers and what they must be going to with their nice ranch homes and their big screen TVs and their well-fed families, as opposed to the immigrant who they expect to come in and for pennies harvest all that food and process and go above and beyond, racing for weather conditions and planning, and it's just not good for our country to be okay with a positive branding, but then underneath that positive branding that we have, that the United States glimmers to most of the world, the uneducated parts of it anyway. And look what we are doing to our future. So they will be citizens of the United States, but we need to lean on our government and make them do what they need to do to give these people all the rights that citizens get, and don't make them feel that we're doing them a favor as we abuse them. Like, comment, share, please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next Black Popcorn.